Hi, everyone. It's Dr. Karen, the women's midlife specialist, and I am super excited to share these labs with you today because it's another example of something you haven't seen yet. And this is super exciting. And I have to tell you that when I entered into this uh, offer to you, I had no idea what would be coming my way. And so, as if you've been following along, as you have noticed, it's not just your typical this and that and this and that used to just come into my office almost all the time. That was the main thing. Okay, low on hormones, replace this, replace. This is just, I think those of you who have found me here on Facebook, I think you're the ones that are really suffering. That's exciting to me because it's exciting that that I'm being found by the very people who need to find me most. Okay, all those zebras out there, right? That's what I started this whole thing about, zebras, and that's where it's going. See, I just love the universe. The universe is just awesome because the universe gives you what you ask of it. Okay, so let's go to this lovely lady. Her initials are CB. And she's 40 years old. She's premenopausal. And she doesn't say that she has irregular cycles, so we're going to assume she's got regular cycles. Now, she sent a note with her labs telling us that she had a history of endometriosis and that she had been on progesterone up until about 3 months ago when her doctor tested her progesterone levels and found them to be high. So at that point, she got off of progesterone. She was not using Hormone Protect. She was using some other progesterone, and I don't know if it was over the counter or a prescription or what, but she stopped her progesterone at that point. Now, I would suspect she was taking progesterone because of her endometriosis. And in fact, progesterone is one of the treatments for endometriosis because endometriosis is stimulated by estrogen. And when we're around this age, 40 years old and up, that's when that estrogen dominance can start kicking in pretty significantly and worsen endometriosis. So these labs, I have to tell you, these labs are extremely accurate to what she is right now, her back to normal levels, because it's been 3 months since she used progesterone. If she was actually just a super slow metabolizer of hormones, well, we'd want to know that too, right? So this would be a very important time. In fact, the best time to test her hormones, because 3 months after stopping that progesterone is the time that we should see that progesterone level come back down. So what are we seeing? Holy moly, we're seeing an elevated progesterone. Now, she's got a low estrogen. So, do I think that she's a very slow metabolizer? Not really. I don't. So, let's look at this hormone cascade and so you can see why I don't think so. Now, progesterone can convert into something called androstenedione that can make testosterone and estrone, and then testosterone can make estradiol. Her testosterone is up in the upper limits of normal for her age, and she doesn't take any. So she should certainly be making adequate estradiol, and she's not. She's zero point 0.8. She's low at 40 years old. So, and at day 19, 20, or 21 of her cycle, which her estrogen should be higher end of normal during that time of the month. Her estrone is certainly in the higher end of normal. So her androstenedione is converting over to estrone. She doesn't appear to be an extra fast metabolizer because if she was, these would be lower too. So what is making sense? What's going on? Where could she be getting this progesterone? Is she making it or is she getting it from some outside source? Well, I'm going to give you a couple little hints, but one area of concern is this baby right here. She's still on sublingual pregnenolone. Okay, so this is my best educated guess. This sublingual pregnenolone is at the top of the hormone cascade. It comes directly from cholesterol. It makes progesterone first and foremost. Then it goes down these other lines, okay? So is that possibly what is causing her elevated progesterone? Very, very likely. Now, what about some other potential causes of high progesterone? Well, pregnancy, I have to mention that one, and even ectopic pregnancy. So, a little hidden little babber in there at 40 years old. I hope that's not going to surprise you, and that's not the case. And this is simply pregnenolone. But I also have to tell you some other potential causes because this is very critical. And that's dairy products that are not organic. So dairy products have sex hormones in them. Not just dairy products, all meats that are not organic, free range, preferably free range, but not organic. If they are provided, they are given bovine growth hormone, and bovine growth hormone increases the sex hormones. And what that does is that plumps those bad boys up nice and fast. And it also, not nice and fat, nice and fast. Nice and fast. I got a little bit of a lisp. Sorry about that. So it increases their mass, their size, and makes them grow faster so they can be brought to market faster. Ugh. But in any event, it's the truth. So, any dairy products or meat that are not organic, you could be getting progesterone through that. And guess what? Bovine growth hormone increases estrone more than estradiol. Most of everything that these animals make is closer to estrone. So this low estradiol and this higher estrone, you need to be thinking about organic dairy. The last thing that could increase is a lot of people don't know there's quite a few facial products and skincare products that actually have progesterone in them. So do take a look and see whether or not there's any progesterone in any of your skincare products. All right, so what are we going to do for you, my darling CB? What is the steps? What are the steps that I personally would do if it were myself? Well, the first thing is I would stop the pregnenolone first and foremost. I think that that's important to know. The second thing is to switch to organic dairy and beef only because that organic, preferably free range beef, meats, dairy, eggs are going to provide you with the protein that you need without the chemicals and the hormones. And then I would recheck that progesterone level in about 2 to 3 months on the same day of the cycle and see if it's still elevated. Now, you could just get a hormone trio that has the estradiol, progesterone, and testosterone in it. And or you could just check progesterone. I think it would probably be wise to do at least the hormone trio. Now, why is it important? Well, the first thing, why is it important that you not have too high a progesterone? Though I do want to say, my darling, I do want to say I would much rather have too high a progesterone than too low a progesterone because you have endometriosis. And again, the treatment of endometriosis is progesterone. So, uh, I'd much rather have that. But I also want you to know that high progesterone has progesterone, bioidentical progesterone, has never, and not a single study been shown to increase breast cancer risk. Never. Now, there are some true conventional medical websites and plenty of conventional medical doctors who quote that progesterone may increase, high levels of progesterone may increase the risk of breast cancer. That is simply not true. And we had this debate just 2 weeks ago at the American Academy of Anti-Aging when there was a conventional doctor talking. She was actually awesome. She knew a lot of stuff, but she mixed up her progesterone and her progestins. And I felt actually bad for her in the lecture because it was as if, she got pounced on and by the audience, because these are functional medicine doctors sitting in the audience, and you can't mess up your progestins and progesterones when you're lecturing. So she got highly challenged, and I felt a little bit bad for her. But in any event, if and when you ever read that, you need to know they're talking about progestins, all progestins. Every single progestin, whether it be in an oral contraceptive pill, whether it be in a hormone replacement medication, progestins all increase your risk of breast cancer. But natural progesterone has never been shown to cause or increase breast cancer. Okay, then why all the fuss? Why am I making a big deal? Well, because sometimes high progesterone, and I'm going to say sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes high progesterone, and the may is the magic word here, may actually have similar symptoms to low progesterone. You won't be estrogen dominant, so you're not at critical risk of worsening endometriosis. That is not the issue, but your symptoms may be problematic. So again, I'd rather have an elevated progesterone than an elevated estradiol with endometriosis, but these symptoms could be affected by an elevated progesterone. So let's look at these symptoms a little closer, okay? We haven't done that yet because I think that we need to rule out other potential things as well. And I think when we pop on down here, we're going to see that there could be some issues with something other than progesterone. And here we go. I X'd it. XX, the number one group of symptoms that is problematic for you is this bad boy, high cortisol. And in fact, here's low cortisol. So these two come together, high and low, high and low. And this is adrenal dysfunction. And my question is, could this be your primary problem? Okay, then we've got right after high cortisol, estrogen dominance, and we know that that's not true because you tested your hormones. And then the third, we put these two together, high and low cortisol, and the third is metabolic syndrome. So when we look at your symptoms, here's that bad boy. That bad boy. Bad boy is a killer. Stress is a killer. Uh-oh, here's another bad boy. Sleep disturbance. Bad, bad, bad. I get so excited doing this because this is so critical. So critical because stress is a killer and sleep disturbance is a killer. We've got to fix this. Okay, just can't afford not to. So you want to bang for your buck. This is where it's at. So the high and low cortisol is your number one group of symptoms that are problematic to you. And then estrogen dominance we know isn't really there. And then your third is metabolic syndrome. So metabolic syndrome and high and low cortisols really fall together. They really fall together. They really cause an adrenal axis dysfunction. And so it's a combination of things that need to be done. So one of course, when you're caring for your adrenal glands, you got to look at these. You got to decide how you're going to treat your adrenal glands while you're caring for yourself with your stress levels. While you are asking yourself those two important questions, go back to yesterday. Go back to yesterday's video when I talked about the two important questions that you have to ask yourself. It was TD's video on the 2 important questions that you have to ask yourself to get your stress under control, because clarity is where it's at. Once you have clarity of these 2 questions, you can make the changes you need to make to beat this thing. So when you're doing that, you need to decide how you're going to care for your adrenal glands. Adrenovive, Adaptanol. We don't want Adrenal because you don't have a low cortisol. I only use this one if your cortisol is low because it has adrenal concentrate in it. So Adrenovive and Adaptanol, I prefer Adrenovive only because I mix it and recommend mixing it with an excellent nutrient, comprehensive nutrient supplement. So, Adaptanol has good nutrients for the adrenal glands specifically, but it is very good for the adrenal glands. But you really need a comprehensive nutrient pack for everything in your body, and that's why I generally encourage Adrenovive and the comprehensive nutrient supplement. So, in terms of this, what you got to jump in and be that warrior. You got to do it, girl. And I know you can, but you got to lower the glycemic index of your food. Got to eat lots of good, healthy fat, not too much though. Get lots of good, adequate protein. And you do this by basically, it's really like 8 steps. No, 7 steps, right? And that's eliminate these high glycemic index breads, pastas, all processed foods. Boom, out the window. Massively increase your vegetables. Eat that skinny plate. I've shown that skinny plate a number of times. Put what's on the table, mix it on your plate in the proportions that the skinny plate shows, and try to eat 1/2 to 1 avocado per day. Just massively increase these vegetables. Make your fruits for a while. Eventually you'll be able to come back to other fruits, but right now get only berries, strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, boysenberries. These are very low in sugars. Lemons and limes are okay, and no more than 1/2 to 1 apple per day. Okay, this is a high fiber fruit, low in sugar, so that's why I throw that in there. No dried fruit, that has lots of sugar. No prunes, no dates, no dried fruit at all. We want that very low sugar. No diet foods because that's just lousy for our body. And you got to be careful with dairy. Minimal dairy. And if you like dairy and you're eating yogurt, again, make sure try to go with this organic stuff and use in terms of yogurt, go with the plain yogurt, Greek yogurt, Greek yogurt. Go with the plain Greek yogurt where you've got a lot of protein, 15 grams of protein in a plain Greek yogurt. That's awesome. And it's got much lower carbohydrates than it does protein. So this is the way to go. And remember, dairy has a lot of lactose sugar in it. And that's why you want to go minimal. This is just my little trick. I like Arctic Zero, and it makes me feel like I'm having a dessert without the sugar. Or if I'm really just feel like some chocolate, this is the way I go. Only 1/4 of a bar at any one time. Okay, how about a comprehensive overview, right? Let's stop the pregnenolone. Let's see what happens. Let's get you off that pregnenolone. Give yourself a couple of months, 2 to 3 months, retest, and then we'll know. Adrenovive, 2 capsules before bed because you got some lousy sleep, girl, and we got to fix that. The comprehensive nutrient packs, I highly recommend. And here's a new guy, L-theanine. With the mood issues, with the stress, with the sleep, don't shortchange yourself. If you do all these wonderful things, add this to your regimen. L-theanine will increase GABA, gamma aminobutyric acid, and it will calm you during the day without making you tired, and it will help you sleep at night. Don't change yourself. Do it for at least 3 months. Then eat the skinny plate. Your protein takes up lots of room on half the side of your plate. Your vegetables take up half the side. You've got these berries for your fruit, or maybe even just add more veggies, and on this side, maybe some very high fiber crackers like Mary's Gone crackers. I love those crackers. You could throw 3 or 4 on your plate right there. Put a little butter on them, and I'll tell you, you've got yourself the starch that you'll want. You could stay away from potato, corn, bread, rice, pasta, couscous, all that you can stay away from. And if you don't even want the crackers, just throw a little more protein on there or a little more veggies. This is the plate that's going to make you skinny right here. Okay, and then in about 2 or 3 months, retest, my love. And I think you're going to find that you are doing much, much better. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that CB. It was enjoyable for me, and I thank you for allowing me to take a look at your labs and help you along the way. Really appreciate it, and I appreciate you too. So, have a wonderful day. Give me a thumbs up because that makes me feel good. And I will see you soon with some more labs. Okay, have a great day. Bye bye.